Hi, my name is Lev Rosen, and I write books for all ages under Lev Rosen and LC Rosen. Most recently, the two young adult books, Jack of Hearts and Other Parts, and Camp. And I'm going to read the opening paragraph of Camp. The smell wraps around me like a reunion between old friends when I step off the bus. That dark soil smell, but mixed with something lighter. Something green that immediately makes me think of leaves in rain or trees in the wind. I love this smell. I love it every summer. It's the smell of freedom. Not that stupid kayaking shirtless in a Viagra commercial freedom. That's for straight people. This is different. It's the who cares if your wrists are loose freedom. The freedom from having two seniors at the table over joke about something being so gay at lunch. And Pride, to me, is a celebration not just of who we are, but of an actual historical victory. I think of the history of Pride a lot, and I think about how there were gay rights movements before Pride, but they were very focused on politeness, on blending in, on showing that we were just like everybody else. And what I love about Pride and what I love about Stonewall is that what happened is we said, we're not like everybody else. We are special and we are being abused for it. And it's time for the community to come together, and instead of being polite and taking it on the cheek and being nice about it, we're going to literally fight back. And it was a battle. It was a 7-day battle. And I think that, to me, that is what we're celebrating now. We're celebrating a community that comes together and fights back when it needs to. And I think if I were going to talk to a younger version myself or any young queer people today, what I would remind them, what I would tell them Pride is it's about finding that community, finding your place in the queer community, and finding the community that you can fight for. It's about being part of this big family, this big queer family, and knowing that you love them so much and they love you, even if you also kind of hate some of them. But you love the community so much, and the community loves you so much, that you will band together like an army and take on anyone who tries to take you down. And that's what Pride is to me.
Hi, I'm Casey McQuiston. I am an author. I write queer rom-com novels, most notably Red, White, and Royal Blue and the upcoming One Last Stop. And I just wanted to wish all of y'all, all of you young queer and trans people, very, very happy Pride. I am a queer, non-binary person, so Pride is always a huge deal for me every year. I love Pride. And maybe this is your first Pride. Maybe you're just figuring things out. Maybe you're not really sure if you feel very proud yet. But I am here to tell you that you have so, so much to be proud of. When I think about Pride, I always think about the origins of the first Pride, which was a riot at Stonewall against police led by black trans woman and a black butch lesbian and a brown trans woman. And I just, it was just started by some of the most marginalized members of our queer community, and I feel such a fierce sense of pride and power and joy at the thought of carrying on even a small part of that legacy. I love the thought of being in community with those people, just as I am in community with you. And there are so many people before you who fought for you because they loved you and because they loved each other and they loved the queer people of the future and they wanted a better world for you. And you see thousands of people in the streets right now fighting that exact fight. And just let that show you that you're not alone, that you're worth fighting for, and that you deserve to fight for yourself. And to be happy. So I'm going to read a quick excerpt from a book. I'm going to read a quick excerpt from a book I'm working on right now. This is a scene in which my protagonist's mom is talking to one of the main characters about what it's like to grow up in a place that may not feel like the best place to be queer or trans. So yeah, I'm just gonna read this. You know, the amazing place, the amazing, sorry, start that over. You know, the amazing thing about a place like Falls Beach is that it does have the ability to feel like the whole world. When you're born and raised here, there's only one ice cream place in town. Then that strawberry ice cream is what strawberry ice cream is supposed to taste like. You can go to the fanciest ice cream parlor in LA or New York and have the most incredible scoop of fresh artisanal strawberry ice cream in the world, but it's still going to be disappointing because it doesn't taste like the only strawberry ice cream you ever had for the first 18 years of your life. But when I left, I figured something out really quickly. It's not the whole world. Just because everyone here knows who you are and talks about people's business doesn't mean that it's not possible to ever be the person you know that you are. There are things there for you. There are things out there for you that you haven't even thought of yet, that you don't even know how to think of yet. Who you are here doesn't have to be the same as who you are out there, and if the person you feel like you have to be in this town doesn't feel right to you, you don't have to stay. You can exist. You're allowed to exist. There are so many people out there who want so badly for you to exist so that they can love you. So that's all. I just want to say to you, if you feel lonely or confused or wrong, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. There are so many people in the world just waiting to love you. We're here with you and we want you here with us. We love you. Can't wait to celebrate with you. Happy Pride. Keep fighting.
Hey everyone, my name is Abdi Nazemian. I'm an author, a screenwriter, and a film and TV producer, and I'm wishing everyone out there a very happy Pride. When I think about what I'm most proud of, one of the things that comes up is writing about and speaking out about my experience as an Iranian American gay man. Growing up, there were no examples of gay men out there who looked like me or came from the country I was born in, a country, by the way, where it's punishable by death to be gay right now. And so oftentimes I felt like the world and my community really wanted me to be invisible, wanted me not to exist. And I think by writing these books, I've kind of written myself into existence. And it's been a very powerful experience to share these stories with readers, and to shine a light on a part of the gay community and the queer community that hasn't really been paid attention to. And that's something I think we need to be talking about a lot more this year. Obviously, our Pride parades have been canceled, but at the same time, we have seen protests that are fighting for justice, not only in our country, but all over the globe. And it's incredibly inspiring to me. And I think it's a very powerful reminder that Pride started as a riot. And I think it's an opportunity for us as a community to reflect on how we want to celebrate Pride moving forward. Do we want Pride to be about fighting for our community, for celebrating our community, for shining a light on members of our community who may not have the same freedoms and privileges we all do? Or do we want it to be corporate? Do we want it to be a marketing tool? I remember at one Pride a few years ago, there was a Wells Fargo float with a guy on it saying, when I say Wells, you say Fargo, Wells, Fargo, Wells, Fargo. It was absurd. But it also, brought up to me the fact that Pride shouldn't be about banks marketing to us or companies marketing to us. Pride is a chance for us to come together as a community to celebrate each other and to fight for each other. That's what the history of it is. When I think of young people, I write a lot of the books I write are young adult, and I get to speak with a lot of young people, and it's really, really inspiring. And the biggest piece of advice I have for them is don't hide. I spent so many years of my life in the closet, and it was really, really hard. And there are people out there, whether it's family members, community, society at large, who want us to live in darkness. And I think it is our job to find the light, whatever that means to you. That could mean writing your story. It could mean finding friends who see you and trust you, finding mentors. Anytime you find people who feel like they're your tribe, hold on to them, but move toward the light. And to me, that means not living in secret, not living in any closet. So before I go, I'm going to read a little excerpt from my latest book, which is called Like a Love Story. Like a Love Story is the story of three teenagers in New York City in 1989 and 1990, and they get involved in ACT UP, AIDS activism, and it's very much a love letter to the activists of that era, to the artists of that era, and to the queer community who really came together to create incredible change at the beginning of the AIDS epidemic here in this country and around the world when governments were turning their back on the community. There's a character in the book called Stephen who writes note cards to the three teens, and I'm going to read you one of those note cards, which is titled Love. Love might just happen to them, but for us, it's not as easy. For us, it's a fight. Maybe someday it won't be. Maybe someday love will just be love. But for now, love is the four-letter word they forgot we care about ever since they discovered that other four-letter word, AIDS, the disease formerly known as GRID, gay-related immune deficiency. That's what they called it at first. They changed the name eventually, once it became clear we were not the only ones who would die. But the stink never wore off. And AIDS will always be GRID, our disease born of our deficiencies. But I'll tell you what we will never be deficient of: love. We love art and beauty. We love new ideas and pushing boundaries. We love fighting against corruption. We love redefining archaic rules. We love men and men who dress like women and women who dress like men. We love tops and bottoms and top hats, especially when worn by Marlene Dietrich. But most of all, we love each other. Know that. We love each other. We care for each other. We are brothers and sisters, mentors and students, and together we are limitless and whole. The most important four-letter word in our history will always be love. That's what we are fighting for. That's who we are. Love is our legacy. Thank you so much. Happy Pride to everyone out there.
Hello, happy Pride. My name is R. Eric Thomas, pronouns he, him, his. I love Pride so much, and I love the It Gets Better project. I love the truth of the It Gets Better project, that it does get better. I love Pride so much that I asked them to put a Pride parade on the cover of my book, Here for It, or How to Save Your Soul in America, and they did. I love Pride so much that I wrote about Pride as the introduction to the final essay, the title essay in my book. So I'm going to read you a little bit from that today to celebrate Pride. Here for It, or How to Save Your Soul in America. It turns out that there's very little I love more than marching in a pride parade. Or not even marching. Dancing, strutting, queen waving, Elizabeth or Freddie Mercury. Take your pick. I believe that you can mark the various phases and stages of your life by what kind of pride experience you're having. Not to say that everyone at every stage experiences pride in the same way, but if you're looking for a rubric, pride works. In the beginning, you're just showing up. It's exhilarating, and you can't find enough rainbow gear to wear. There is so much glitter. Maybe you took the train in from a suburb with a drive-through Starbucks. Maybe you snuck out of the house. All you know is you're thrilled to be there, and you go home late in the evening, sunburnt and ebullient. Later, you get acclimated. You feign being over it. Pride becomes that place where you run into all your exes and first act shady to them, and then act friendly to them, depending on what's going on in your therapy sessions. At some point, maybe you'll even march in the parade. The first time I marched with a website I was writing for, I was just over 30, single, and was briefly experiencing the hint of an ab. I wore a fedora for some reason, and at the last minute, I decided to take off my shirt because I thought that's what you do at Pride. So that year, I didn't so much march as display ab to 13 blocks of Center City, Philadelphia. Maybe at some point you march with your workmates in matching t-shirts that advertise your very open and affirming corporate banking conglomerate. At another point, maybe you're carrying a kid in a Bjorn in Pride, or pushing a stroller in Pride, and holding a sign that says free mom hugs in Pride. And eventually, if you're lucky, you become one of those queer elders, riding a festively decorated trolley that has been chartered by a community center, waving from the windows, marveling at how much has changed and how familiar it all seems. I love Pride. I love a party. I love a family reunion. I love getting flyers and magnets from local vendors. I love Pride too because it began as a riot. That's important to me. Every step, every shimmy, every wave is a gesture of triumph, but also of defiance. The first time I went to Pride, I wasn't legally allowed to get married. I could be fired from my job because of my sexual orientation. My future husband, who is now a pastor, couldn't be ordained in the church. And yet here we are, living in markedly better times than we lived before. There was so much to be proud of. Thanks, and happy Pride. It's Here For It, or How to Save Your Soul in America by R. Eric Thomas.